So we finally got a third Tron movie. Does it live up to the hype? I don't know. Let's talk about it. The Grid. So Tron Ares is the latest movie in the Tron franchise starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee, and Jeff Bridges. It follows the story of Julian Dillinger, which is the grandson of Edward Dillinger, played by Evan Peters. He took over the company and found out that he can bring some of the weaponry from the digital world to the real world. And he's wanting to use that as, well, a bunch of weapons. The only catch is that he can do it for only 30 minutes.
All performance issues, you know.
He creates a super soldier called Ares, and that's where we come in. Now this movie starts off kind of like Tron Legacy in the very beginning, and we get a recap of Flynn and all that stuff, and that he disappeared, kind of like in the second movie. That's where the similarities stop. In this recap, we also hear that Sam from Legacy has disappeared after the events of the second movie, and for personal reasons. If you've seen Legacy, you'll know everything that happened. If you haven't, what are you doing here? After the events of Legacy, both Sam and Cora escape the digital world, and Cora finally gets to experience what the real world is like. She became human. That left people like me wondering, okay, where do you go from here? Do they explore her DNA and everything like Jeff Bridges had explained in Legacy, and does she really change the world from here on out? Since it has been so long since they made Legacy, a lot of people, I think, finally kind of just lost interest in Tron to begin with. I feel like this movie was kind of like recapturing what Legacy had, and as far as some of the storyline ideas from bringing digital people into the real world, or anything from the digital world into the real world and manipulate it. To me, it almost felt like they were trying to recreate Tron Legacy, but then still mention the people from Legacy to where it is technically a sequel, but almost a soft reboot. Greta Lee's character basically plays one of two CEOs of Incom because Sam disappeared for personal reasons. Yeah, that made sense. They take over Incom, and their whole idea is to bring stuff from the digital world, much like Evan Peters' character. They take over Incom, and their sole purpose is to bring stuff from the digital world into the real world, much like Evan Peters, just not in a military weapons reason. Once Evan Peters finds out what they're trying to do, he programs Ares to go after them and basically get rid of them. Now that's the gist of the movie. I will say this, the visual effects actually were really good. The digital world, while they didn't spend a lot of time in there, for the most part looked pretty good. But to me what really shined is when they brought the digital stuff to the real world, and you got to really see these spaceships and all this technology from the digital world in the real world, and you got to really see it in a realistic form. With this one, you got to see all that technology come to the real world, and you get to see it in somewhat of a different light, but like it's just, you got to see some of the gritty details. And again, the visuals all in all were just fantastic. Now the storyline I was not a fan of, unfortunately. I did not like that Sam stepped down from Incom, or just stepped away in general, and Cora, both him and Cora, just disappeared. Now some may say that makes sense in a realistic scenario, but Jeff Bridges' character even said that she was supposed to change the world. With her DNA, they were able to like cure diseases and everything, and that was mentioned in this movie that, oh, they were gonna cure diseases and do all these things. Well, yeah, we were already gonna do that in Tron Legacy.
Biodigital jazz, man.
But it felt like this movie actually just took everything that Legacy did and just kind of put it aside and said, no, we're gonna kind of forget about that. We're really gonna do it this time in this movie, but we're gonna also add the military weapon aspect to it, just to kind of give the story I don't know, some more texture. Look, regardless of what you think of Jared Leto, he actually wasn't bad in this movie, but he wasn't anything good. Meaning that his acting wasn't bad, so therefore I can't really complain about it, but it wasn't good that it really added anything to the story. I mean, basically he plays a Terminator, which we all know what a Terminator is, but that's essentially what he played, and then kind of has a change of heart and is kind of a good guy, but you never really see a change in personality. He doesn't have a personality. He's a program. So while I will say he wasn't bad in this movie, he just wasn't good. He didn't bring anything worth talking about in performance. And Jeff Bridges does appear in this movie, like in the trailer, but it's only for a glorious cameo. In Legacy, he appeared to make the ultimate sacrifice, saving Sam and Cora from Clue, but it wasn't actually explained whether or not he did die. So it's always been up in the air of whether he would come back or not. And he did in this movie, but it was a program style Jeff Bridges. So it was nice to see him, but it wasn't enough to save the entire movie. I felt like the sisters in the movie They just came in when Sam stepped down, went to run Incom, and basically do the exact same thing that he was doing, and basically took credit for what both Sam and Kevin Flynn were doing. This movie at the end does kind of set up for a potential sequel. Spoiler alert, after a little while, Ares does talk about being human. You see him existing in the real world and everything, and he talks about that how there is someone else out there like him, Cora, and he wants to meet her and kind of like talk to her and I guess have a digital meetup of real people and just, hey, how's life in the real world? How do you do this thing? You know, like, how do you do life? So while that is kind of exciting, I really don't want a sequel from this particular movie. I wanted a sequel from Tron Legacy, and we technically got it, but it also felt like a reboot, whereas you didn't have any of the characters from Tron Legacy, but you only had Jeff Bridges, which was nice, but it was only for a glorious cameo. And nobody wanted this. By all means, this wasn't a god-awful movie, but it was not a good movie. And I really don't want to say that. I really want to say, oh no, this was knock your socks off type of movie, and this was the Tron we've been waiting for since Legacy. But that's not the case. Tron fans like myself deserved a heck of a lot better from this movie than what we got. You could have easily taken what Legacy did and continued it with Sam and Cora in some kind of way, and then have, you know, a way to get back to the digital world. There could have been a way, but we didn't get that, and we got something completely different with Jared Leto. And as much as I hate to say this, I would rate this movie with just wait for streaming, or you could just not watch it. I probably will watch this movie again because it's a Tron movie, and maybe to see if there's something else that I didn't catch before that I'm like, oh, okay, I actually like that. But it won't be enough to actually save the movie and really change my rating on this movie, because we got a movie that we have been asking for, but not the one we wanted. And I think that is a shame considering how long it took for it to happen. And it took Jared Leto for it to happen. Well, that about does it for me. There isn't much more I could say about this movie, other than, yeah, it is what it is. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of anything about this movie? Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.